I have to say that this is the second time I've recorded the audio for this video. The first time, of course, was when I was recording the video originally, but due to some kind of a foul-up on the part of Audacity, the original audio track that I recorded as I was doing this video was lost. Irretrievably lost. And so I decided that rather than throw out an hour's worth of video or try to somehow redo it, that I would simply do a voiceover video and try to attempt to recreate what I was talking about when I recorded it initially. Let's see, if I recall correctly, as I started out here, I had recently completed a lot of work on the Ender farm, and I was getting ready to finish up some of that work. Yes, that's right, there was a glass tunnel that I want, a glass enclosure over the walkway out there that I wanted to put up and cover with water to keep Enderman from teleporting onto it or onto the area where the walkway is out of the farm. And also to get a minecart track down, because sprinting is all fine and dandy, but why run or walk or sprint or whatever when you can ride? The farm itself is quite an impressive sight, I have to say. Also with this episode, which is another reason why the loss of its original audio was a shame, is because I was talking about an experimental change that I was going to make with these videos, just simply because I thought perhaps it might work out. And that was that, well, the story went that I had recently started watching Farlands or Bust. Now, mind you, I had heard of kurtjmac and Farlands or Bust for quite some long time, actually. But it was only in the last couple of weeks that I had actually sat down and started watching those episodes. And as amazing as that is, I started watching those episodes, and I liked his style. I have to say, he's got this very good style. And the one thing that he did with those episodes, after the Farlands expedition started in episode 10, was that he didn't cut anything. And so I got to thinking about that, and I thought I would try an experiment for a few episodes at least, in which I didn't cut anything from the video, and that I would do the best I can to maintain a running commentary. You know, sometimes that can be kind of difficult, especially when you're doing repetitive tasks, and especially if those tasks require a certain amount of concentration, it can be hard to keep focused enough to keep talking, but I thought I'd give it a try. And so that's what this originally started out to be, an experiment in not cutting anything. And with what I'm doing now, I'm continuing the spirit of that experiment by not nuking this video because of its damaged audio track, or the lost voice track, and just simply trying to create a new one here in post-production. Sort of doing a narrative as I watch the video in post, which frankly is not always as easy as you might think, especially since it's been 2 days since I recorded this footage, and the delay has been because I've been busy with things in the so-called real world that simply couldn't be put off. And so not only am I having to do an after-the-fact commentary, I'm having to sit here and struggle to remember what I was thinking at the time. And the idea here was that I had heard, or what I'm doing here, I had heard somewhere, and I can't begin to tell you where, that Enderman could only teleport about 32 blocks, which it makes sense. It's one of those power of 2 things, and it makes sense in context of Minecraft. So I decided that I would build a glass cover over this walkway slash soon-to-be minecart track that extended out 32 blocks from the tower. And then what I would do, once that was built, is to go up on top of it and place water, so that any ender twits that did manage to teleport out there would end up landing in the water and dying instantly. And I think that's going to work out reasonably well. I also intend to put in a enchantment table setup here and a storage setup for the mountain of ender pearls that I figure I'm going to get out of this thing. And eventually what I do is the cobblestone platform here, what I would do is go out there and just break the retaining wall and let the water spill out over into the void, thus eliminating any place that the ender twits could teleport to. And I think that should work out reasonably well. The fact that I'm using glass for this walkway, that you can see through it and so on, is going to kind of keep it from being quite as claustrophobic as it would be if you were to use stone or whatever. And it's funny, I do all my branch mine corridors 2 blocks tall, but anything else I consider that to be a little too claustrophobic. But if I'm in a branch mine, 2 blocks tall is perfectly normal and acceptable. I just don't want it that way anywhere else. Oh well. So, I also have to note that this being episode 248, I'm getting very close to the episode 250, which is, of course, going to be the episode at which I make this world available as a download. And, of course, now, as I make this recording after the fact, 249, of course, is already recorded because, well, 248 and 249 were recorded in a single session. And so they're both going to have this voiceover thingy after the fact because the original voice track was lost. And the reason for that is it's got to do with change that I had to make in the way I was recording my microphone when I started doing Kerbal Space Program. Because using Fraps to record Kerbal Space Program, I ran into the problem of, well, frankly, getting completely drowned out by the rocket engine sounds in Kerbal Space Program. And so I got experimenting, and I figured out that I could use Audacity to record the microphone when doing that program, and that's all fine and dandy. But the problem came when I had the difficulty of forgetting to switch how Fraps was recording sound. I did that a couple of times, and a couple of videos got trashed because of it. And at least one got one of these recorded after the fact audio voiceover things. And I don't know. I can't just switch back to just recording only, getting the sound only with Fraps because, like I said, I'm not going to stop doing Kerbal Space Program anytime soon. It's too much fun. Too many people enjoy it. And it is bloody loud, or it can be. And that's even after I've gone into sound files, KSP, and edited the sound files to reduce their basic original volume. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to have to do with that. I'm going to definitely have to do something because I've been experiencing more and more problems with Audacity getting the blue ring of death. And if you use Windows and you've ever had a program hang on you in Windows 7, then you know what the blue ring of death is. When that appears, the program you're using is dead and you have lost everything in it, unless you've done a recent save. And of course, while recording audio, Audacity doesn't have the nice little feature of saving the progress. It does save what you're recording in temp files, but who wants to take 87 different temp files and try to reconstruct an hour's worth of audio the hard way? I've done it in the past, but that would be the reason I don't plan on doing it again. Ah, yes, Enderman. They're a lot of fun, especially when they're down to a one-hit kill. The only thing you have to do is avoid looking at them. And then if you're standing in a pool of water, even that doesn't matter very much. Because when they teleport to you to do something about it, they're toast. Well, at least they're toast when they're one-hit killed and they teleport in the water. Oh, well. And so here I go, placing a temporary sky bridge from which to do my water thing over the glass corridor, swatting Enderman to death along the way. I have to say that I particularly enjoy that, swatting Enderman to death. It's kind of nice to swat them like flies and have them just be totally gone here. Now here I'm making a mistake because I'm going ahead and removing that retaining wall, when in fact I should leave it there until I've got all my water placed, which I don't figure out for another minute or two here. It's kind of interesting sitting here looking at my own video, doing commentary after the fact, seeing the obvious mistakes I'm making along the way, and also looking at some of the things that I'm doing and wondering, what am I doing and why? Have you ever done that? Have you ever sat and watched one of your own videos and wondered, what am I doing and why am I doing it? Because even though you did the video just a day or two ago, you don't actually remember all the details because you've had so many other things going on. And that's where I'm at now. I'm running into several of those moments. Okay, I guess somewhere around here, I have to be figuring out that I need the retaining wall so that, no, I don't figure that out until I start putting the water in. That's right. Put the first few water locations in, and that's when I figure out I need the retaining wall so that I can get the infinite spring effect going, get the whole thing covered with water, and then start breaking down the retaining walls. See, here all I did was make a mess. I'm sitting here trying to rearrange the water into something that'll make an infinite spring when I know doggone well it's not going to until it's got retaining walls. And then an ender teleports into it, and that makes the whole fiasco worth watching. Okay, there we go. Now I finally have a clue. You'd think I would have these clues a little bit sooner, a little bit more often, especially considering how long I've been playing Minecraft, but what can I say? Everybody has their duh moments, as I call them. Those moments when you look back at what you were doing before, or thinking, or saying, or whatever, and you go, duh, how could I be so dumb? Everybody has those moments. And when you look back on them, you always think you're having more of them than anybody else around you. So, well, like I said somewhere around the beginning of this, I was trying to do this with the idea of doing no cuts in the video. No matter what I was doing, I wasn't going to cut the video. I don't know, I suppose there might be time when I'd speed it up, but at the time I was thinking I wasn't going to cut it, or... No, I wasn't going to speed it up. I was just going to keep doing whatever and try to keep up the commentary. And I don't know, I'm going to try that for a few episodes. I mean, besides just this one and episode 249, because I'm having to do the audio over again because the genius didn't manage to remember to switch something right, or no, that's right. And this one, it was because Audacity fouled up. I had audio recorded, it's just that Audacity ate it. I'm gonna have to rethink how I'm using Audacity or something, because switching the different ways I'm doing the audio depending on what I'm recording is just, that's not going to cut it, because I keep forgetting how it's set up. I keep forgetting to change the setup back to whatever it needs to be based on what I'm recording, and that's not going to do it. I'm just going to have to work something out so that I have one setup for recording, and that's what I use. Okay, now we're getting down here to where there are very, very few places Ender twits can spawn. And I'm thinking, this is way after the fact, but that ring of sandstone there, I'm thinking I need to either put half slabs of water on that, because they can still spawn up on there, or teleport to it at least. They can't spawn there, obviously, because there's lights. But they can teleport to it. But this is pretty much creating the effect I wanted. This glass-covered walkway, water pouring over it. It's sort of see-through. and prevents enders from getting anywhere out of the trap, or at least mostly anywhere out of it, except anywhere not out of the trap. There's still that cobblestone ring around the edge, but that shouldn't take more than a few minutes with a good pickaxe to fix. And meanwhile, that ring is quickly becoming the only place they can teleport to. And it's just amazing how fast you can get 30 levels of XP with this thing. I did one test where I actually clocked it, and it took like 45 seconds to come up with 30 levels of XP. Just sitting there swatting Enderman. That was pretty good. Let's see. Yes, I decided to go ahead and leave the wall on this end because I didn't want to have to walk through curtains of water to get in there. All that, and the water would kind of ruin a minecart track that I was going to put through here. And I believe I get started with that track pretty soon here. Well, that is, after I fixed the broken panes of glass that I broke while I was breaking out the retaining wall. And the place is still going to need a little bit of redecoration here and there. Like, for example, getting rid of all that netherrack. I don't remember right now whether I did it in this episode or next, or if I still have to do it or what. Oh, I really hate having to do this audio after the fact like this. I'm going to try very hard to not have to do that again. After 249, I really don't want to do this again. It's a royal pain in the butt to try to remember what you were doing, especially when you have to wait so many days after you did it, and so on. I'd have gotten to it sooner. I really wanted to get to it sooner, but I had some, like I said, I had some real life things to take care of that simply couldn't wait, some of which had deadlines, and so on, so... Well, okay, this episode is not quite over with yet. It's getting there. It looks like there's about another 5 minutes of action there. And if I'm not mistaken, what I'm getting ready to do now is to start laying down the groundwork for a minecart track to come out here. Because the ladder and the walkway is all fine and dandy, but as I always say, why walk, run, or sprint when you can ride? Speaking of riding, I understand that in the one of the recent snapshots for the upcoming 1.4 release, that they have made it so that pigs will follow a carrot on a stick, and that by using a carrot on a stick with a pig in a saddle, you can actually steer a pig. I'm sorry, pigs are not transportation. They are food. They're not especially good food at that. Well, in terms of Minecraft, they're good food. But I don't know. That just goes against the grain. I still consider saddles to be totally worthless. worthless. And I can't honestly, right now, anyway, see myself using a saddle on a pig. I never have. And I don't honestly expect I ever will. Granted, I shouldn't never say never, because things can change. Circumstances could change, and I could find it to be, if not useful, then necessary at some point. But anyway, see, I'm looking through these chests here, and sitting here, watch myself look through these chests without commentary, and I have no clue what it was I was looking for. But apparently I needed to... Oh, now I remember. I was looking for sand, because I needed either sand or gravel, a gravity block, from which to put down markers to have an idea of where that track needed to go and how long it needed to be and so on. So I ended up having to come back here and mine some sand up out of the lake bottom out here, or swamp bottom. This is actually mostly swamp area around here. A lot more of it was swamp in 1.8 until, in 1.8, and then in one of the 1.9 pre-releases, a lot of it turned into snow country, even though it still looks like swamp, because it's got the swamp trees and the vines and all that. It just started snowing on it and freezing. I don't know. I do hope that at some point they stop making major changes to world generation that take existing areas and turn them into crap. I mean, the new biomes and whatnot, as they come out, they can be good addition, but when it takes an existing area and turns it into something else, destroying or severely altering the face of something you've worked a lot on and had plans for the future for, based partly on what kind of a biome it is, that's no good. Anyway, I'm busily ranting here and running out of things to say, which I suppose is just as well at the moment, because I can see by the video editor track that I'm coming to the end of this episode. So I'm going to put this episode to bed and get this one rendering, and I'm going to sit back and watch a couple of more episodes of Farlands or Bust before I come back and have to do this audio voiceover track thing again for episode 249. Fortunately, episode 250's audio track is fine. I checked it already. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.